Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Jack Talks Bikes, and tonight we're taking a look at a bike that I think looks absolutely tremendous, and it has finally seen a bit of an update for 2026. This is the new Kawasaki Z900RS. Okay, should we jump straight into it then? We'll take a look over the spec sheet. So we're getting the same 948cc inline-4 engine that we found in the previous bike and that is shared with the Z900 family of bikes, which you'll see is the more modern, naked, sporty looking bike. So that remains their core engine, but Kawasaki have updated it. So we're now getting an electronic throttle, so ride-by-wire, as opposed to that older cable throttle that was on the previous generation of bikes. I've not ridden one, but many people did report that that cable throttle was quite snatchy. It felt a bit on and off. It made the bike a little bit intimidating to ride. A little bit uncomfortable. People did talk about having it mapped out, but ultimately that hopefully won't be a problem on this new bike because they've moved away from the cable throttle and introduced this ride-by-wire modern electronic throttle system. By doing that, they've been able to introduce things like cruise control, which on a bike like this you probably don't need, but you know, we're getting to the times now where more and more bikes need a unique selling point. So including cruise control might not be high up on many of your lists, but it's nice to have. So that's there now. We've also got an IMU for its traction control, so lean aware ABS and traction control, giving you different rider modes and giving you a bit more control in the corners, which is great news, makes the bike a bit safer. What else do you get? Bidirectional quick shift up and down as standard on these bikes now, which is great because I know many people, especially on the previous bike, you'd have had to go aftermarket. And I know many riders these days, myself included, we don't demand quick shifters, but it's nice to have them. So having that as a standard feature on the bike is a good move, in my opinion, from the guys at Kawasaki. They go on to say that they've restyled the exhaust, giving it new header shape and a megaphone-style silencer, which is aimed at improving sound and giving it more of an expressive character. So I reckon this is because they're trying to get the engines in line with Euro 5 Plus compliance, which is making them be a bit more stringent on the noise they can produce, the brake horsepower, etc. It limits the engine a little bit more, making it Euro 5 compliant for their emission standards. So by retuning the exhaust and stuff, hopefully we're within noise compliance limits for Euro 5, but you're getting something that isn't lacking in character like some of the modern bikes and stuff we're seeing out there tend to, with these overly silenced, overly baffled exhausts. The fans of retro bikes will also be glad to know that they've kept the twin analog clock layout. So you're getting the two analog clocks either side as you did on the previous generation model with that centralized LCD screen in the middle. So they're keeping the classic looks, but including a nice modern touch on the bike. So it's keeping in character with what they're doing with this retro styling and look of the bike. And those of you that know, if you look over at Triumph, when they got rid of the analog clocks, the backlash they have been receiving for that is phenomenal. So it's very smart of them to have kept those analog clocks on this bike. So whilst we're talking about the dash, you also now get smartphone connectivity. So you can connect your phone to the bike. Because you've got the analog clocks and not the full LCD that you get on some of the other Kawasaki bikes, such as like the Z900, for example, I don't know how much functionality you're going to get from the smartphone app across to your bike. I don't know whether you're going to get the navigation and stuff that you can get with the larger one, or whether it's just limited to smartphone connection, just showing you people ringing you, sending notifications to it, giving you some options with rider telemetry within the app. So we'll have to wait and see how that all formulates. But with a bike like this, you're probably not the sort of person that wants to go connecting your phone and strapping that onto the handlebars and stuff, but you might be someone that's looking for a satellite navigation option that's more in keeping with the retro style of the bike. And that is where a company like this comes in. This is the Beeline Moto 2. Okay, this is a small satellite navigation device. As you see, it's a little tiny thing, very discreet, very subtle. It's a navigation device for your bike. You will need to connect that to an app on your phone. You can put that in your pocket. And with it, all you're getting is a very discreet, very subtle, very smart-looking satellite navigation device. If you want to find out more about it, going into an in-depth dive of what this thing is, how it works, how much it costs, what it offers, how it all comes together, then you can go and visit my other video by clicking the pop-out banner at the top of the screen. If, on the other hand, you already know all about the Beeline Moto, you've seen the adverts, you've watched videos on it already, and you're interested in buying one, then please go to the description below, hit the affiliate link and go and get yourself one direct from the guys at Beeline. I will make a small bit of commission from the sale, but ultimately you as a buyer will not pay a penny more. Anyway, that's enough for me marketing stuff. Go check them out. Beeline with the Beeline Moto 2 satellite navigation. Check them out. on with the video. Let's jump in and have a look at the different specs of the various different bikes, comparing the RS to their SE model. So as I mentioned, the bike is going to come in 2 trim levels. You're going to get the standard Z900RS, and then you've got the top of the line Z900RS SE. So what are the main differences? Well, we'll start with colour. The RS is expected to come in candy tone red, which I think looks really nice. It's keeping in keeping with the classic retro looks that they're looking for with this bike. And you can also get the black ball edition, which would be my personal choice, where they've kind of murdered it out, gone all stealth and black, and they've got some extra black detailings around the exhaust and some of the side panels and stuff. I think that looks really timeless and fantastic. Then there's the SE variant, and this is going to feature my personal favourite paint scheme. You've got all those gold forks and stuff from the Beeline suspension, you've got the gold wheels, and you also get this beautiful metallic sparkling black paintwork with this orangey red detailing on the tank. I think that, in this launch colour, looks tremendous. The SE also adds a USB-C socket to the handlebars, which is fantastic, again, especially if you're plugging something like the Moto 2 in, because it's USB-C charging. So that's a nice little touch there. And you also get upgraded brakes on this bike. So it changes the Kawasaki brakes, the 4-pots and stuff that Kawasaki branded ones for Brembo. And as I previously mentioned, it upgrades the suspension to Behline's fully adjustable suspension front and rear. So you do get a lot more spec with the SE over the standard bike, but the standard bike is offering plenty in the sense of a road-going setup for the bike. Let's talk about updates to performance. So although many of the performance changes apply basically to both versions of the bike, there are some nuances which is worth noting when debating between the SE and the standard version. So peak output from the RS family, this has been pushed to 116 brake horsepower over the previous model bike, which was 110, I believe. And you also now see a peak torque of 98 Newton meters, which is down 0.5 Newton meters. You're not going to feel that at all when riding it. It's just worth noting there is a slight decrease in torque, but a massive increase, say massive, 6 brake horsepower increase in the peak brake horsepower. There's actually no firm information on the price of these bikes, but if you look back at the previous model bikes, I think it was just over £12,000 for the standard version and just over 13 for the old SE. And with bike prices, well, generally going up year on year, I think it's safe to assume somewhere in the ballpark of between £13,000 and £15,000 for either of these bikes. But I think if you're looking at one of these, if you're looking for a retro classic, something that's a bit sporty, looks a bit old school, has that classic feel about it, you can't really go far wrong with the Kawasaki Z900RS, because these are fantastic looking bikes. And I'm really, really looking forward to seeing one in the flesh, and hopefully, maybe, if someone willing to let me have a go, having a ride on one myself and seeing just what it feels like. But yeah, anyway, that's it. Another news roundup in the bank. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Do all that social media stuff. Let this channel grow. Hopefully I get to see you guys in the next video. And whatever you're doing this evening, hopefully you have a fantastic rest of your day. And hopefully I get to see you, like I say, in the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.